It's Tuesday, December 8th, and time for your Barbados Today News Update. The deadlock between the Barbados Workers Union and G4S Secure Solutions Barbados Limited in their ongoing pay dispute remains. However, Prime Minister Mia Mottley was able to thaw further industrial action by G4S workers and the BWU for the next 36 hours at least. The request was made after hours of talks between the two sides broke down yet again. In an update on the developments from Ilaro Court in the wee hours of this morning, the Prime Minister revealed that the security firm refused to deviate from the practice of hiring security stewards to perform the same duties as security officers at a lower rate.
It is inconceivable that a company can concede that since 2014 they have continued to act in a way that is discriminatory to a number of its employees. To be precise, 300 of the 640 employees who are responsible for guard duties. The other 340 are in fact security officers. Security officers receive the sum of $8.79 per hour, and security stewards get the sum of $7.24 per hour. The company further conceded that it has not hired a single person as a security officer since 2014 and has only hired people at the lower level of security stewards for competitiveness reasons. The company further acknowledged that it has not promoted a single security steward to being a security officer such that persons can be promoted to earn at a higher level for the task which they have done. The company further conceded that there has been salary increases for only members of the administration and that no security guard and no security steward has received any increase in rate of pay since 2014.
The Prime Minister said she was now waiting on a legal opinion from Attorney General Dale Marshall on the way forward.
It is against that background that the government of Barbados has made it clear that we will seek a legal opinion. And I've asked the Honorable Attorney General to not only present one on behalf of central government, but also the state-owned enterprises in which we are majority owners, that we would also want legal opinions from them in the next 36 hours so that we may examine all of our rights as government or as a state-owned enterprise in these matters, since it is not the intention nor wish of the government of Barbados to be a co-conspirator in a breach of the International Labour Organization's principles, conventions, or statutes. And it is against that background of our not wishing to be a co-conspirator to, an accessory with, an accomplice with anyone in breach of these conventions that I will wait for the legal opinion before we announce the next step that the government of Barbados will take with respect to G4S. It is against this background that we have also asked the Barbados Workers Union to stay their hand with respect to further industrial action for the 36 hours.
Ms. Mottley said the government will then meet to discuss the legal opinion, which it expects on Wednesday, before consulting with the union and the company.
I equally hope that the company will reflect on the import of what they have put on the table tonight, because I do not know how you can admit that something is wrong and then ask for permission to continue or to break for 30 days and continue again with what is wrong. And if that is how business is done in other parts of the world, then I can say to you what I've said on too many other occasions, not about here. That is not what we will allow as part and parcel of our industrial climate.
In other news, The Alliance Owners of Public Transport is not at all happy with recent comments made by the new director of the Transport Authority, Ruth Holder, and the association, which represents public service vehicle owners and some taxi operators, is demanding a public apology. Holder recently dismissed claims by AOPT Chairman Roy Raphael that PSV operators were being unfairly treated, insisting that they needed to comply with the law. But Raphael contends that the association has been going all out to improve the conduct of PSV operators, which he said has resulted in a significant decline in the level of complaints from the public.
But to make that kind of statement after doing so much work in the industry and declining, CRF numbers have fallen, it is really reckless. And I believe that we should, as an association, the director of the transport authority should come out and make a public apology to this association, right? Who not only represent minibuses and sedars, but represent taxis, hire cars, and limousine, and those people. We have a number of persons in our industry, in our association, which feel very belittled by that statement being made by the directors, making it or suggesting to the public that we are encouraging our members to break the law. Right? I don't know how she can make that statement, but we are asking for basically a public apology, because if we don't get a public apology, the fact is that we may have to write to the minister seeking the intervention of the minister, because coming in the public and making that kind of statement, it is really throw cold water on us, our ability to continue to work with the transport authority to eliminate, right, or to create a friendly environment for both the stakeholders.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, the ferry service between Guyana and Suriname will not resume this week as planned, as officials from the two countries keep a close eye on a large number of Cubans hoping to cross over into Georgetown. Gordon Mosley of News Source Guyana has the story.
The move comes in the wake of more than 600 Cuban nationals camping out at a ferry terminal in Suriname, planning to travel over to Guyana. The number of Cubans camping out at the site has been growing steadily, and authorities in Suriname estimated that the number of Cubans waiting to cross over to Guyana could reach over 1,000 in days. Minister of Works Juan Egil, who met with Surinamese officials today, told reporters that the situation is being closely monitored and addressed at the diplomatic level. He noted the government's concerns about the large number of Cubans waiting to cross over into Guyana.
Diplomatic level that is being handled, and as soon as the issue of the congregating and a determination of what will take place with the Cubans that are at the South Drain on the Suriname side, as soon as that has been resolved, we are ready. As a matter of fact, the directors of both the Guyana Ferry Inc. and the Guyana Management Committee will be meeting on Friday in Guyana and in Suriname.
Minister Egil also said Guyana and Suriname are both working closely to have the issue resolved, and the United Nations is also involved in the matter.
And finally, the head of the World Health Organization is urging countries to prioritize vaccinating those persons most in need. The appeal from Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus comes as countries prepare to roll out COVID-19 vaccines in the coming weeks and months.
As countries plan to roll out vaccines in the coming weeks and months, We urge them to prioritize vaccinating those most in need. Based on the values framework and population prioritization roadmap issued by WHO Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization. These documents provide recommendations on who should be considered for vaccination first and lays out the values that inform those recommendations. These are not easy decisions. Vaccinating health workers who are at high risk of infection will help to protect them and the health system. People at highest risk of serious disease or death as a result of age are also a high priority group because protecting them will reduce severe disease and death and take the burden off health systems.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.